Hello everyone, and welcome to Argent, or actually the instructional video for it, and potential set. Now, Argent isn't real, it's a fantasy world I created, and this is an instructional video for it. Before I continue, I have to say, I do not own any of the pictures you're going to see throughout these instructional videos. These are just here to help you guys get a feel for what Askara is like. Because in reality, most of the world is actually going to be in your head, or your imagination. Which means that each person who views this is going to get a different personal feel for what Askara is, which is something that I love about fantasy games and RPGs in general. Now, for those of you who have played RPGs before, you may be wondering, what system does Argent Rift use? Argent Rift uses the Age system, which some of you may also know from games like Dragon Age or Titan's Grave. For those of you who don't know the Age system though, if you look in the description below, you'll find a link that should take you to a guide that tells you all about the Age system. But enough dilly-dallying. Let me introduce you to the world of Askara.
Askara, a world beyond imagination. A world where the impossible becomes possible. Where science and the arcane meet as one. Wonder and beauty lie at every turn, and adventure is always just around the corner. Here, yesterday's stories give rise to today's legends. Not much was known about Askara's early history. There were no written records, no stories, nothing. And the elders of Askara refused to give any information. This mystery of history plagued historians for decades, until the Awakening, where it became painfully evident what happened to that history. No one knew where it came from, or why it appeared. They only knew of the destruction that it left in its wake. The beast's power was unimaginable. It was so great that the continent itself split into three. Millions died, and the landscape would be forever changed. Those who survived the Awakening, now knowing the fate of their ancestors, and realizing the beast, dubbed Bahamut, would be back, vowed to be ready when the next Awakening came. Thus began the Age of Dawn. Millennia passed, and in an effort to prepare, technology grew in leaps and bounds, and a new race was formed, the Cybrus, a race of sentient robots. But they were not treated as such. Because of their amazing stamina and strength, they were used as manual labor and cannon fodder. After decades of this treatment, they were fed up and rebelled. Allying with the humans, they fought for their freedom and equality. The Age of Spark and the Spark Point War had begun. The war raged on for decades, until the rebels were finally victorious. But the victory came at a price. The humans in Cybrus were forced to leave the continent of Mythikos. As a result, the humans settled on the continent of Iridian, and the Cybrus on Mechana. Millennia more passed. Civilizations rose and fell, cultures grew and adapted, and more people began looking at combining science and the arcane. However, one voice spoke out against such things. His name was the Oracle. He spoke that if science and the arcane were not kept separate, then Elyon himself would bring about the next Awakening. Those in power ignored the Oracle, thinking nothing of him. So he decided that if he couldn't convince them with words, he would convince them with force. Thus the Age of Flow and the Flow Point War began. The war went on for centuries, until finally, in one last desperate attempt, a small group of heroes sieged the Oracle's fortress and defeated him. Askara would finally taste some peace during the Age of Dragon, but even that would be fleeting. In Askara, there is a place where an ancient evil was locked away, eons before Askara heard her own name. This place is called the Gate of Oblivion. After the Flowpoint War, some pockets of those who followed the Oracle still existed. One such follower, calling himself Oblivion's Hand, opened these gates, and the creatures that came forth were those of nightmares. The Spawn. The Spawn took the world by surprise, rising from the earth itself. Once again, Askara was plunged into war. The Age of Spawn and the Spawn Point War was upon them. But this time, the world was fighting together, against a common threat. They were fighting for their world, their home. After centuries more of war, they were again victorious. But as always, victory is not without price. The evil of the Spawn corrupted the land beyond healing, and to this day, some places still give birth to these horrors. For all that it has seen and endured, Askara holds fast to its awe and beauty. The people live their lives in a state of watchfulness for new enemies, but also in a state of hope that they have finally found peace. This is the history that most Askarans are taught. However, there is more. The beauty of Askara's land still hides secrets for those brave enough to find it. Or there are people that just wish for a more exciting life, more adventure. Or there are those that power is suddenly thrust upon. It is from these people that the legends of today rise.
Thank you guys for joining me on this journey through Askara. There will be some more videos that are going to come out about more specific things in the world, like the continents, the races, kingdoms, things like that. So please stay tuned for those, and I hope to see you next time on Argent Rift.